what I let's talk about Zach LaVine and how the Chicago Bulls literally cannot trade this man for a bag of chips. I have never seen something quite like this. And everyone is saying that it is basically the contract that Zach LaVine is on is virtually immovable. You cannot pay someone to take this man from you in a trade if you're the Chicago Bulls. And I've seen a couple comparisons saying this is similar to the Bradley Beal situation. I don't think it's the same, really, because one, they're two very different players. Zach LaVine is very, very much so a player that relies on his athleticism and his ability to finish around the rim and things of that nature. He's a decent three-point shooter, but he's not a distributor. He's not really going to get you a ton of rebounds. He's not the best defensive player. And mind you, neither is Bradley Beal. But Bradley Beal can fit a very certain role, which is why I feel like at the time, him being traded to the Suns, despite his contract being so terrible and having the no trade clause, that made sense to me. Because it's like you have Kevin Durant, you have Devin Booker, who can both create. Bradley Beal's really just going to be that third option. He can spot up. He can do a quick 1-2 dribble, get to the top of the key and make a mid-range. Like, that's all he really needs to do. But Zach LaVine is not like that. Zach LaVine is a little bit more ball dominant and a little bit more dribble heavy of a player. But it's just remarkable to me that they are in such a tough position in terms of trading this guy, because, and mind you, I mean, his season was very short because he's dealing with injury. I honestly can't recall what the actual injury was, but he only played 25 games this season, and he was ruled out for the entire season, like early on. And he had season-ending surgery, I believe. Might have been on his shoulder or something. I honestly can't remember. But basically, he's being seen now as being injury-prone. I think he's been seen as injury-prone for a while. I mean, he's played 82 games once in his career, and that was in 2015, 2016. So, I don't know. I don't know what situation works. And I keep seeing trade scenarios where they trade him to the Lakers. I don't know why the Lakers would take that trade. Because, unless you're trading him for D'Angelo Russell, which I would still keep D'Angelo Russell as opposed to trading D'Lo and then getting Zach LaVine back. It just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like they're two different players, but they're way too similar in the way that they would work in that offense. And Zach LaVine's not really going to play great defense. I mean, I think D'Angelo Russell's a better defender, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do, but they clearly have to figure out a way to get Zach LaVine off the roster. I mean, maybe Miami would be a good team for him. I mean, they got a whole situation they got to figure out down there too, but I think Zach LaVine could work there. I just think you have to kind of make some other changes if that's going to work. Or you just put Zach LaVine where he can literally be like the go-to guy on a team that's just not really going anywhere. I think at this point Zach LaVine he's not going to be the number one option on a contending team. I just don't see that happening. And that's all right, but I don't know how his play style fits elsewhere to be a piece that helps teams to win. It's just crazy saying it out loud because I'm like, he is a good player. He's very good. He just isn't, I don't know. I really don't know what it is. He's an elite slasher. I think he has to play with a really good playmaker. Maybe they trade him to the Hawks. Maybe the Hawks should trade Risachet for Zach LaVine. I feel like you're kind of in a Trae Young, DeJounte Murray situation again. Then if you do that, though, it's just like nothing works in my mind. Like you either just keep him on the Bulls and hope it works out, or like I really don't know what you do. I think at best at this point, you're trading him for another like maybe expiring contract and like a second round pick. Like you're not getting anything. Like maybe they trade him to the Nets and they trade him for Ben Simmons and like a second rounder, or maybe 2 second rounders. But that's literally the only way I see you getting him off the books. And then I guess the only thing it really does for the Bulls is you get Ben Simmons, who maybe has a chance to be decent, in the last year of his deal. But if not, that's the last year of his deal. So he's off your books after that. And then who knows if he's going to sign another contract in the NBA. But I just don't know. I just don't know what you do with Zach LaVine. I really don't know what you do. But he's good. He has value, and he has a use. I just don't know how you get him to the place where he's going to have the highest and best use for his play style. Because if you have too many ball dominant players, I don't think it's going to work. And he's a scorer, but he's probably going to have to change his play style a little bit if he wants to continue to be successful in the league, because I just think this whole episode with the Bulls in general has just shown that Zach LaVine was not what they thought he was. Nikola Vucevic is not what they thought he was. Like, so these guys got to figure something out for their careers, in my opinion. But it feels like the Zach LaVine giveaway, like they're really trying to get him out of there, but it doesn't seem like anything's happening. At this point, it's like I don't even think Zach wants to be there, but he's like, I'm gonna get my money, So I can't blame the guy. Like he's got a player option in not the season after this one, but the season after that. He's got 3 years of basically guaranteed money, and that player option is like $48 million. So if you think Zach LaVine is bad right now and doesn't deserve the money that he's getting, like just wait, because he's going to be getting paid a lot more when he's probably not nearly as good as he is now. So I don't know. He kind of like reminds me of like Tyreek Evans, but he's not even as dribble heavy as Tyreek Evans. He's just, I don't know what kind of player he really is right now and what he's going to be when he comes back from injury. But it's just like, man, like I did not expect it. I expected him to get traded a long time ago. I also expected DeMar DeRozan to get traded a long time ago, and Vucevic. But I don't know, man. The Bulls just want to be mediocre for some reason. So I hope the Bulls and Zach LaVine can figure out something that's going to be good for both of them. But who knows? I mean, he might not get traded this season either. This is crazy. It's craziness.